Hi there, it's Clive Illenden here again, and I'm back once more with another tech review for your delight and delectation. And today we are looking at this, the brand new Nest Audio from Google, a replacement for the original Google Home, where it all started. I was a big fan of the original Google Home sort of speaker that they had. I thought it worked really well, and I was pretty impressed with it. But this is new and improved and branded under the Nest brand of sort of products, which is something that Google is doing at the moment. If you're new to the channel, then do me a massive favor, will you please subscribe, hit the notification buttons, hit the likes and everything, because it all helps with this video and gets this video out to as many people as possible, which hopefully is a good thing. Anyway, as I say, I've been a big fan of Google Home or Nest products, as they're now called. I have the original Google Home. I have 3 Google Minis, 1 Nest Mini, 1 Google Home Hub, and now I have a Nest Audio. So how does this stack up with the original Google Home, which, as I said, I was a big fan of? As I say, Google are claiming this is a 75% more volume, 50% more bass response. It's made from recyclable materials. It feels pretty hefty in the box. I believe the device weighs 1.2 kilograms. That's without the power adapter, apparently. So it does feel kind of hefty. That's what you want in a speaker. You want a bit of weight and heft to it, as they say. But anyway, why don't we just get on with the unboxing, and then I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison with the original, the OG Google Home, and we'll see how it fares then and there. So without further ado, why don't we get on with it and start the unboxing? Okay, let's get on with the unboxing. So obviously, goes without saying, Google Assistant, so all the normal things that you can kind of say. And I guess each box also is going to be, depending where you are, what country you're in as well, will have sort of certain app-specific things. So, for instance, in the BBC News here, Deezer, Spotify, YouTube Music, of course, TuneIn, Google Duo, so you can make phone calls with it using Google Duo, Google Calendar, and links with Philips Hue, loads and loads of stuff. I have Google operating everything from my lights to my LED lights that I've got in different people's bedrooms in the house and stuff like that. So it's all very cool. But what I'm really interested in is the audio quality, because this is going to be my main speaker, as it were, in the main living room to replace the original, the OG Google Home. Anyway, comes in the 2 colors, the charcoal and the grey. Here we go. Does, as I say, it feels pretty hefty. You can do some workouts with that. This is obviously the charcoal color. On the back here, the Google logo. Obviously the microphone on and off if you want the privacy issue. Nice satisfying click there. Don't know if you can hear it, probably not, but there we are. Nice satisfying click for that. And the power socket. And then this is the front. It does come with sort of 3 sort of sensor controls. Here for the volume up, volume down, and the kind of pause and play kind of section in the middle as well. But we'll explore that when we all set it up. But it does feel pretty hefty. As I say, this is 1.2 kilograms. 1.2 kilograms. So you know this is a solid piece of kit just in terms of weight, and definitely premium from that point of view. Power cord, obviously, with a nice, what looks like quite a nice long lead. Cable length is 1.5 meters. You've got 1.5 meter cable length there. And then it's not like a USB-C or a USB-C power control. It's that kind of standard, I guess, a 12.5 volt thing in there. And then the standard let's get started quick start guide. If you're familiar with the Nest Audio products or the Google Audio products, Google Home products, etc., they're really easy to set up. You just basically get the Google Home app on your phone and then just go through the process there. Now, I've obviously got lots of various Google Home mini speakers all around the house, so setting up for me is pretty straightforward. but it's going to be fairly straightforward even if you're brand new. As I say, it's got the touch controls on the front of the speaker here, and it just shows you in the manual here. So volume down, pause, play, and volume up, and they're sort of at the side, in the middle, and here. But we'll see what they're like when we get on and do that. Then the mic switch, as I said, at the back, I pointed out, and some various examples to get you going on what you might want to sort of say when saying, "Hey, G." Privacy statement here as well, for those that are concerned that they're always listening to us, man. Where's my tinfoil hat? So there we are. That's what you get in the box. Just to say that this is made from 70% recycled plastic as well. So sort of Google's commitment to the environment there as well. On display, as it were. As I say, it feels nice and hefty. It's got a nice kind of look to it. Feels solid. Let's get on and set it up. So setup should be fairly straightforward if you've got the Google Home Assistant already, which I have. As I say, I've got loads of various devices. Just make sure the microphone is on. It will warn you whenever you switch it off or whether you switch it on. But basically go through the basic setup, and hopefully it should be a fairly straightforward setup process. If I'm being absolutely honest, it did take me a couple of goes, which was a little bit frustrating. Normally I don't have the issue. I don't know what it was, whether it's because it was slap bang right next to another speaker at the time. Initially it found it, and then it sort of lost the process halfway through, and then when I tried to start again, it didn't automatically find the Nest Audio. In theory, it should just find that Nest Audio on the system and then just link it and connect it to your rest of your home and your network accordingly. So there we go. And then you can just set it to the room that you want it to be in if you've already got room, or set it into groups. So later on, once I'd done all this, I created a separate living room group, and now I have both speakers. I switched the microphone off on the old Google Home so that it doesn't respond, as it's in the same room and I don't necessarily want it responding when I'm going to use the main Nest Audio as the responder, as it were. But I've linked them together as a living room group, so I can now sort of say play the music on the living room, and it plays across two speakers, which is quite nice, one on one side of the room and one on the other side of the room. But anyway, that is the setup process. As I say, I had initial problems initially, but reset the Wi-Fi, unplugged, plugged it in again, started again, and yep, before I knew it, there it was, the Nest Audio speaker installed and all set up, ready to go. So the next test really, I guess, is to see what they sound like. So I put them next to each other, as you can see here, and I'll play some music at 50%, 75%, and at full volume, just so you can get a sense of the comparison between the two. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? So you've seen the test I've done, and I don't think it's kind of the best demonstration, to be honest, because I'm using the audio in this camera, not my normal audio, so that's not very good at picking up the sort of subtle sound differences. And also the speakers are placed on an oak cabinet, and I always found that the original Google Home was quite bassy because of that, because it's sort of sitting on top of a big oak empty sort of cabinet, giving that extra kind of bass sound. But what I did find is that at the upper levels of volume, the new Nest Audio, the sound clarity was much clearer and the bass much more precise than with the Google Home. But other than that, I didn't really notice a lot of difference until, and here's the big but, and this is what really sells this to me, and I think is the big difference. So I was pondering why it didn't seem to be, that spectacularly different, just standing over the two speakers, listening to them and wondering, yes, I could hear more detail, more clarity at the higher levels. And in terms of the bass response was more precise. I couldn't really understand, other than that, what the major difference was until, as I say, I've been using this for a couple of days now, and I was working away on the computer, told the Google Nest Audio to play some music, and then I noticed the difference. It fills the room, and that is the key difference. These new Nest Audio speakers, what they're sort of designed and engineered to do is to envelope the room in sound, and they do that with much more precision and clarity than the original Google Home. Whilst I really like the original Google Home, what I've noticed with the Nest Audio is that the sound spreads further but with more consistent clarity than with the original Google Home. So that suddenly gave me my aha moment. And that's what makes the Nest Audio much more different. They're room fillers. They fill the room with sound, and that sound has clarity and precision throughout. And that, you can't really tell when you're standing over the two speakers trying to sort of work out the difference between the two. It's not until you sort of step back and you've got it on in the background that you realize it's filling the room with music, and it is very impressive. And that's the Google magic. I knew there would be Google magic. There's always a bit of sprinkling of Google magic somewhere, and that is where the Google magic is, in the fact that it can fill the room. Now, I'd really like to try maybe get another of Nest Audio and set them up as stereo speakers and to see what that difference that would make. But one speaker is perfectly enough to fill the room with good clear sound, and that's the key thing. So at first I was a bit, it's okay. I love the Google Home anyway, and this is just as good, a little bit better. But it wasn't until later, listening when I was doing stuff, that I realized actually it's that room filling power of the speaker which is the big selling point and the main difference. And so on that basis, yeah, definitely thumbs up from me on this. I think the Nest Audio is well worth the investment. If you're looking to replace your original Google Home, or even if you don't have one, then it is a great room speaker because it does the job. It fills the room full of sound. I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that interesting. You know what to do. Hit those likes, hit the subscribe, and hit that notification button. Then you'll know when I go live with these kind of YouTube videos. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you around very soon with more tech, lifestyle, and gaming videos. Thank you.